Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I am joined by Dylan.
If you don't keep that in, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Maybe I'll put it at the end.
Okay, fine.
I really bungled up the beginning of it. I just stumbled on my words.
Bit of a bungler.
I had a really bad case of just
no talk good.
The big tongue, or just just makes a whole bunch of sounds.
That's a phrase I never thought to use.
What you mean?
Someone can't speak very well. You just say he's got a fat tongue.
I mean, that is something that I have a problem with a lot. I think my
So we decided to make a podcast.
Yes. No. There's a problem with me is like my mind moves faster than my mouth can.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times I just start to mumble, and sounds just start to happen.
The ravings of a madman.
Yeah, I really do begin to just trip over my own tongue, and it becomes really bad.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it gets bad.
So anyways, I hope you're ready to hear us talk for the next half hour.
Listen to me ramble on and stumble over my words for another hour.
Mm-hmm. It's a talent.
I will try my best not to make sure that happens.
I mean, what the fuck do you think they're here for?
I mean, I don't know. At this point, we're so far in. If this doesn't at least entertain you a little bit, our mad ramblings about Lord only knows what, I don't know what will at this point.
Right.
This is a continuation of what we did last week.
A sequel,
if you will.
Part 2
of the second half of the animated series, Fooly Cooly.
The Fool Who Is Cool.
Yes. I always wondered why it was FLCL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that how? Coolly. Yeah, but
that's just how it is, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing has irked me more than hearing someone unironically say FLCL.
Really?
to describe the show. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say?
I've never actually said that, but I always thought it was interesting because I understand why.
Right.
Because I think it's like the way Japanese people would probably pronounce certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it just looks funkel. Is what it looks like,
Yeah.
You look at it on paper, and it's like in the Americanized version of it, it's a little weird.
If you try to do it phonetically, it just sounds funny.
Yeah, but I think the Japanese phonetic would probably be Fooly Cooly.
Right.
Or something adjacent to that. Anyways, this is the second part of this, and I'm excited to get into this tail end of this show.
Right.
Right off the bat, is there anything that you want to say regarding what we've experienced right now?
Man, I love the Lupin the Third references. And
okay, so I haven't watched the series of that, but I definitely had a feeling that there was the one that I could catch, and I'm pretty sure I did, was the khaki pants, blue shirt, red coat. Was definitely a Lupin. It was a reference to him.
Yeah.
Was there any other ones, or was that the big one?
That was the only one as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
But the other big one was the Daikon 4 reference.
I don't know what that is.
It's this little intro animation that was made by a bunch of big names back in the day for a convention.
Mm-hmm. I think
I've shown it to you.
You've shown it to me, yeah.
It's just been a while. But it's the bunny outfit and riding on top of a guitar as opposed to a sword.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, it's a good one.
Well, in this first episode, or it's episode 4 technically of our episode today, they're really hyped about baseball.
Yes.
Obviously because
it's the big game.
It's the big game. And I know that his brother
is a big American baseball star now.
Exactly. So I know that they're probably, they're really hyping him up, trying to make him big into baseball as well. And he's just not having it.
Can't do it.
Just can't swing.
Won't do it.
Won't swing. And then we get home, and then this is the scene. This is the scene that stuck out to me the first time I watched.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Really?
I don't like it.
Interesting. I thought it was funny.
You talking about the massage?
Oh, I am.
Yeah. No,
the thing is, I thought it was so funny because I've never overtly seen I've seen some like rather scandalous things in anime before.
Risque.
Not talking about like the explicit stuff, like excluding anything that you may be, anyone at home may be talking
just
about.
All the fan service and stuff.
I'm talking about like just regular anime stuff. Like you may see some pretty risque stuff, or
I hate
like
that's
or kind of pushing the boundary. But this is like laying it on thick.
Mm-hmm. The show's already got a ton of innuendos in there to begin with.
Yes, and this is one of those moments where it's just they're really hemming it up hard.
A step too far.
I mean, she's on the ground, and they're having the dad character, which we've already established if you listen to the last episode.
He's a fucking freak.
He's a real freak, man. He's giving her a quote unquote massage, and I mean, she's making some noises that is not not appropriate, not safe for work. And again, I love it. It is too far, and it's too far for some people, and it's probably too much. But I love the fact that our main character is not what you'd think it is. He feels like the voice of reason in this utter hysteria that is his life.
Yeah.
Every situation that he gets into, he may scream and go crazy, but he definitely is the person like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
He walks into the room and he's like, what is happening?
He's got a good idea of what normal is supposed to be.
Right. I mean, she's on the floor.
Everything but happens to him.
Yes. She is making some noises and is just like getting real horned up over here.
Vile.
And he is like, you didn't even change.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, get up. And anyways, it's funny because of that,
right?
Because he is this opposing force against whatever the hell's happening here, and it's funny and it's nice because it's like, thank you for being a 13-year-old boy, but for some reason being the only sane person in this room right now. Which I think is kind of
that you have to put up with this,
yeah, right? And then of course we cut to this scene, and I just called him Browse,
yeah,
because Browse just shows up, but I mean he is like. That's all you see is eyebrows.
His defining characteristic.
And he seems like a detective of some sort.
Right.
This is like the first time we've seen him.
Figure.
Yeah. He's got glasses. He kind of reminds me of there's other anime characters that are kind of like this.
Yeah.
He has those glasses, he's got these big brows, and he has like this just strong personality. And then he has this discussion about what's going on, and kind of he's talking about
gives the kid the rundown,
right? Because he's like
explains everything,
right? And like we get the first taste that this is not just some like fun, kind of crazy wacky thing. There's like some sort of external force here.
Story.
Yeah. Here's the story bit at episode 4. And then there's a point when he's talking with Haruhara, and like his dad, it feels like a horror flick all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not overtly. It's still kind of funny, lighthearted like it normally is. But like, there's this scene where like the colors kind of tone down. They're in an alleyway and they're talking, and she kind of seems a little more like solemn. And like his dad's head falls out of like her trench coat or whatever. And like, but then like it cuts really fast, like it was a hallucination of sorts. And it's like, what is going on here? Like, oh my God.
Foreshadowing.
Right. And then this kind of, that same thing happens a few more times in the episode where
you think the kid might snap and finally kill his dad?
Oh, dude, maybe. And then of course we get to this point whenever he's woken up in the middle of the night. He's woken up out of his sleep from moaning in the middle of the night.
Right.
Again, in a very sexual manner, and he's like, "What the hell's going on here?"
You're led to believe that
the massage
bump in the night.
Yeah, the massage session is continuing late at night. If you catch my drift.
When in reality,
yeah, exactly. And but the thing is, there's also like some funny dialogue in innuendo as well, where she's like, "Just hold still, I'm gonna stick it in."
Oh, God.
And you're like, "What?" Yeah. So, and then you get like another like a few glimpses of his head and stuff, and it just feels really
shit's going down or is about to.
And then, like, like he wakes up the next morning, or I think it's like later in that next day or whatever, and he's like, it cuts to these shots of his dad being like on the ground with like blood from his head. It's all black and white, and you're like, and he has this bat in his hand, and it's like,
he just fucking killed his
this
dad.
boy just killed his dad, like hands down. And then like you're left to believe, like, did he kill his dad? Because out of nowhere, his dad is like behind some curtains, and he has these like hickeys on his neck, and he's talking about how like, oh, Haruhara and me have this special relationship. You're like, okay, like dad's trying to like kind of talk about the fact that he has this like sexual relationship with their live-in maid, roommate, cleaning lady, whatever the hell it is at this point. And then he gets aggravated and he hits the TV with his hammer, and then the dad flies out of nowhere, and then of course we get more cuts to like his dad bleeding out on the ground. You're like, oh shit, like he really killed his dad. And it gets real heavy all of a sudden. And then Browse out of nowhere
brings him in for an interrogation.
Right. Like he's a police officer. I'm like, okay, so maybe he is a detective. And he just starts questioning about like what's going on with like, why'd you kill your dad, basically. Right. And he's like, I didn't hit my dad with a baseball bat. And then of course it, just kind of it devolves into more
and elaborates on what actually happened.
Right. And then of course also like more of the plot of the story about how Haruhara is this kind of, not human.
Right. Space alien.
Right, exactly.
Using Nata's head to open a portal.
And he basically goes back home. Oh, and the funny thing is that like so far throughout this entire episode, everyone's like, the eyebrows. Like freaking out about his eyebrows.
Because they're so fucking weird looking.
And then like whenever they get some close-up
like
shots.
2 pieces of skin.
Yeah. Whenever they get close up to him, like there's a strange amount of detail on his eyebrows that is like a different texture than like everything else. It's like the flat art style of an anime. It's kind of funny. But then he like says something like, now to mention something, our main character is sitting there and he's like, he says something about like the eyebrows. And
he just says eyebrows.
Yeah, and then he says, what about the eyebrows? I'm like, man, why so
like aggro? Yours, fucker. What's going on there?
You got freaking squares on your head, dude.
Jesus.
He goes back home and he opens the cabinet underneath the sink, and his like
emaciated, anorexic dad.
It looks like it is a mummified body of his
hollow
father. And I'm like,
his father. That
man got the soul sucked out of him. Is what it looked like.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
On the verge of death.
Yeah, right. And then of course he ends up trying to bring his dad back to life, and he was like, I tried to simp over Haruhara, and she like, knocked me out or whatever.
Right. I guess you prefer your real father after all.
That's crazy. Man, and then like we start to get like towards the end of this episode here, and she puts like a shower cap on, like one of those like headbands that you put on babies that doesn't let the soap get in their eyes.
Right.
She like at the end of it, like she smashes it on his head, and his head turns like this like red goop or whatever.
Right.
And she just goes like, elbow deep in his head. And I'm like, dude, it's crazy.
And then gone wrong,
dude. And then there's more innuendos about like she's making more like sexual sounds, and he's like, no, don't hit me like that, or don't give me like that. And then I wrote it down. She's in the middle of digging in his head, and he says, don't touch me there from behind. And it's like, oh man, it's funny, like little things like that. Mm-hmm. She pulls out an entire guitar out of his head.
A really cool
one. It's a I forgot what they're called. They're like the A-frame guitars. They're like really cool looking.
Yeah. I need one of those.
Yeah, they're really cool. This supposed missile that's coming into the Earth,
a satellite
at Mach speed, it ends up opening up, and it does like a backflip, and it throws a ball, and it's like really like cool looking because it feels
like
very
a last
fluid.
Resort defense weapon.
Right. And whenever it throws it, like the hand breaks apart into pieces, and it's just this massive like baseball. And again, to bring this whole episode to a conclusion, he just can't swing, is what it is. And then with the help of his alien-esque girlfriend at this point, they both knock it out of the park. Mm-hmm. And it's wild.
It's a home run.
And then at the very end, we find out that Browse was a fake. No, they were just fake. Right. They just fell off his head, and they were like, "Oh my god!" crazy.
How about that South Park reference?
Oh my God, dude. Like, where did that come from? That's so interesting. Just little
put it in there,
little tidbit.
Because they liked it.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. And it was very accurate too.
Oh yeah.
It looked an awful lot like it. There's a little nod to South Park in there where they just cut straight to the anime style or the animated style of South Park. And he's in a barber's chair, trying to like just rambling about getting a haircut. What is his name?
I have no idea.
Amaral,
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I just called him Browse.
Yeah, you might as well.
It's his most defining feature.
That's just his name now.
It feels an awful lot like Rock Lee. And then
oh, yeah.
I just call him Browse.
Right.
Okay. And then we get on to episode 5 here. In 5, this is where it begins
with a battle.
Man, this is on a whole new level.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like there's a relationship forming in this one.
Yeah.
In like a weird way.
Yeah.
In like an unconventional way.
Not a healthy way.
Not a healthy way. In a very insane, very crazy way.
Yeah.
There's a battle ensuing in this one. And
there's BB guns.
There's so many guns.
Yeah.
There's so many guns. They're firing all over the place. They're going crazy.
A Spaz 12.
My
favorite shotgun.
Exactly. Yes, they're going insane. And again, just like I don't know if I've said this in the other ones, but there definitely is like a callback to the beginning. So there's a lot of guns in the beginning, and just like the previous episode, that's a foreshadowing for what's going to happen at the very end. Stylistically, at least, yeah. So,
oh god, yeah, dude, my favorite.
Yeah, right. We're getting there. So the first note that I have on here, I think, is whenever they get home, it's further showing how crazy she is, because I'm pretty sure she's naked, or at least in a towel,
right? In a towel,
and is screaming, and it's just going insane,
communicating through his cat,
right?
God knows who.
Right. And then she's just bouncing all over the place and just is going insane and is
adopts the Elvis look.
Right. Right. And I'm pretty sure she says "pia" for the first time.
Pia.
Yeah, in a way. I forgot like what the context is for that one.
I love that.
Oh man, it was so good. If nothing else, we got to show him that. Right. She gets excited and does something, goes like "pia," and then
it's been a running joke.
Oh, exactly. And this is where like the intimacy kind of gets in. It's like she gets really close to him and kind of like, again, starts to insinuate how like, I need to teach you how to be a man. And of course, again, our boy Naota just
ain't having it.
Not only is he ain't having it, it feels like he doesn't pick up on it, and it's good.
Yeah.
It just feels so over-sexualized. The fact that someone's like, what are you talking about?
Like,
it's like,
oh, thank God.
All right. Yeah. Just this real, just deadpan voice of reason, or just this straight shooter all the way through. So of course she's like, I can teach you how to be a man, and it's like being seductive about it. And he's like, oh yeah, how can you do that, huh?
Right, like you'd know.
Yeah, like you know anything about that. And then of course, I think he starts to kind of get horned up with the situation at hand.
Right. Unfortunately.
Right. And then in this episode, the thing that is protruding from his head is the firing pin, or the hammer, or whatever it is, on like a, what you'd imagine on a revolver.
Right.
And it's in the back of his head. And I mean, it is just like, it is shooting out of the back of his head, and it is like pushing his head forward, and he ends up kissing Haruhara.
Yeah.
It goes on for a moment. It's kind of crazy, but then the dad, have mercy. The father sees all of it, and he's having a heart attack. I mean, he changes,
vows revenge.
He changes every shade of the rainbow.
Right. A duel is issued.
Right. Yes, a duel is issued.
And his fucking dad.
And he pulls a gun out. It's a BB gun. Shoots him and everything, and it's like, we're going to settle this like men. Or something equivalent.
Right.
And we're going to do it for Haru. Haruhara's honor or something like that,
right.
or
affections.
Exactly, and she's like, I'm on board for it, and he's like, I'll do anything for you.
She clearly has nothing of.
Oh God. He ends up jumping right out of his clothes, and it's like, I'll do anything for you. And of course, then this is my favorite part out of the whole episode. I'm pretty sure she's done this already in the beginning part, but I didn't quite notice it as much.
Right.
At this point, after she says, you guys can fight for me, he says, hell yeah, I'll do anything for you. Jumps out of his clothes, except for his underwear, and is flying, like diving, like into her, like he's going to like jump onto her. She leans back, and then wham! one of those cartoon fists on the springs jumps out of her crotch.
It's what I like to call the Fujiko defense system.
What does that mean?
Fujiko does the same thing from Lupin the Third.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a straight up from the
hidden boxing glove.
Hidden boxing glove from the cooch. Okay. Yep. I mean, it just bashes
just for emergencies.
Yeah, or just for emergencies. Yeah. It's great. It's a I won't repeat what I have in the notes because I think it's
nice
actually
bit of slapstick.
Yeah. And then we get to the battle. Smash cut. We're in the fields. Everything's getting ready.
Now
Naota and Haruhara are like, doing their army crawls, trying to get some like plans ready. Got two what look like little Uzi, like little submachine guns. Yeah.
Gotti is on the opposing team
with Dad.
Who for some
stands
reason,
proud.
For some reason, thought it was a good idea to buy an old school Nazi uniform, swastika and all. I
just wrote down the Dad's a Nazi while she's getting all horned up on Naota. I mean, because she's over here like trying to like rub up on Naota, like, I don't know what's going on. It's so difficult or hard.
Defend me.
Yeah, right, yeah. And he's like, what's going on? We're trying to fight. And then he's like, I can't believe what's going on. And he's dressed up as freaking Hitler. And I'm like, what is happening? He stands proud, straight up. And I'm like, and I said, oh God. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that's not cool. Yeah, so that's definitely a scene that happens. And man, there's so many guns. I know I said this already, but this is another
frantic.
I mean, they're just everywhere. Bullets laden to everywhere.
Right.
They're going crazy.
A scene from The Matrix, however, sped up.
Yes.
There's no slow-mo.
No, it is crazy. And then of course, like there's more exposition that happens in the film in regards to Browse and his kind of companion. I think her name is,
I don't think we ever got her name.
Kitsurubami, I think is her name. But again, did we ever hear that? I don't think so.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah. So we get more exposition about what's going on, all that kind of stuff.
Part of like a secret organization.
Right. There's this bigger
fighting
thing at play.
Against medical mechanica.
Yeah. Which is still just a big iron.
Right.
We don't even get to see inside of it except for that one time. And it's just this amorphous organization we hear all these things about. Oh man, we're getting to the good part now.
Really?
Yeah. I have it gets. Oh man, I love the ending of episode 5 so much, but I won't get there. I read ahead a little bit. Haruhara is in. I guess she's inside the secret organization's like base or whatever, or they're in a building of some kind. And Browse and all his men end up showing up.
It's the barbershop.
Okay, the barbershop.
Yeah.
And end up just trying to blast that place to smithereens. And I mean,
it works.
She is dodging every single bullet, and then she has a shotgun, or she has her guitar.
Not only is it gas powered, but it works as a shotgun.
And she is, blasting through guys,
destroying
through doors, everything. And it is this. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. It's crazy. And then of course, as the battle dies down, the dad is left there,
flowing down the river,
right,
in defeat.
Yes, she ends up like picking him up, and again there's this at this point the big bad has emerged, and it is this like this big brown like cylindrical thing,
gigantic figure in a trench coat,
right,
with a cowboy hat.
Yes,
whose visor also acts as his mouth, which is another like favorite feature of mine.
Yeah,
but man, the dude starts off like just walking towards the iron,
right?
Which is elaborated on later.
So before we get there, our boy was on the ground, and again he got real horned up about something, and
Flustered,
just like flustered, and then blasts through Mamimi's through the concrete, through Mamimi's legs, and just like all of it, just like blasts through and goes way up into the sky, and then summons this creature. Haruhara is with his dad, and ends up. It's just again more innuendos. Is talking about how Naota is he's just better. He's better, he's bigger, he's got all of it.
No, that's with Browse. After she fucked up the barbershop. And
really?
Yeah.
I thought that was out of his dad's head. Okay. Well, regardless. Anyway, so he's talking about how, like, what does he have that I don't have?
A sick-ass guitar, dude.
Exactly. And she's like, he's just a lot manlier. And, of course, because she bonks Browse in the head, and, of course, he's like, and she's like, of course it's small, and it's just this little baby guitar.
Not even a full guitar.
No, it looks
a little tricorn shape.
It looks like, just imagine an oversized guitar pick. That's exactly what came out of his head.
Right.
So she pulls it out, and of course, like really just roasting his ass about how
Can't do nothing
how
with
not
this.
manly he is.
Right.
And I'm like, and then she ends up taking it and then flying away, going Pia, and it was the best. And then this is where it gets kind of real out of nowhere, and this is like a turning point, I feel like, for Naota and Mamimi's relationship. Which, again, for those of you who are just tuning in, Mamimi is Naota's
his older brother's ex,
but technically currently kind of his. They're kind of like playthings. They kind of diddle around underneath the bridge. Right. At least is what it insinuated as. Oh man, this is so. I laughed. I was holding back a laugh because it was so epic and so cool, and also kind of tragic in some way. So it's traumatizing and terrifying for Mamimi, and she's like panicking and is like calling out to Naota's older brother.
Right.
And like really just like asking for him to save her, and he gets upset because he's like, "That's not my name.
Right.
Quit calling me that.
I'm the one who's here.
I'm the one who's here. I'm the one who's gonna save you."
Right.
And because again at this point he's 4 for 4.
Right.
On saving the day with these situations. He's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get this figured
intentionally or otherwise.
Right.
It just kind of happens.
He gets so upset that he shouts to the heavens, Conti! Which is his robot, and of course all I said was he shouts Conti, and then the Titanfall happens.
Right.
and then out of nowhere this
cue.
This robot comes falling behind him, and it's just this like epic stance behind him, and it's
beautiful,
picturesque. It's prime. And then he ends up getting eaten up by him to become this
but on purpose this time.
Yeah, and then of course we can't forget the obligatory bunny costume, like you talked about.
Right.
She comes flying in on a guitar and a bunny costume.
Daikon 5.
And I don't
it's the sequel.
Yeah, I don't understand. And at first I didn't know what this thing was that they were on top of it.
Right.
Because of how it happened, it looks like this brown, like this beige brown cylinder almost.
You don't get a full
with these
silhouette.
Yeah, with these like circles, like concentric circles down the front,
right,
or on one side, and there's like this kind of like platform on top. It looks like a weird building that it just kind of is moving.
Right.
It looks like some big monolith of some kind. Turns out it's not. It's just a trench coat full of guns.
Yes. I fucking love it, dude.
Dude,
it's so cool.
What a fight sequence. I mean,
amazing.
Yes. It was truly amazing. They start flying around, and I mean, just like every beat of this episode, they're just blasting guns everywhere. They're shooting the place up. It's really nice. And then this is where he, I love this as well because this is also like a guitar reference. Conti ends up like, a
beam of light is firing out of his screen.
like a real Godzilla,
right? Like fucking atomic
breath type thing. And then like halfway through the stream, he just grabs onto the front of it, like it's a thing he can just grab, and then of course pulls out. It is a Gibson SG, and apparently it is a 63,
either 63 or
64 year model, which again is like a retro,
right?
Classic guitar, classic bass guitar. And so, and again, that's crazy. Like the whole, like, I want to say it's, Browse and Hado are both like, not the Gibson SG 64 model or vintage or whatever. And he's like pulling this out of his head, and he just goes, he like, as if he couldn't go full power anyways, he just goes even farther. It starts
absolutely mutilates the dude.
Blasts through this guy. Come to find out, it's just a hand with other little hands on its fingertips
to hold its guns.
Yeah, to hold its mini guns.
It's perfect.
Hear me when I say mini, as in like ANY mini.
Oh yes.
But yeah, so that is definitely. And then of course after that, apparently that's like a really big pivotal point because it looks like Haruhara has fallen in love with Conti apparently,
right,
and has been enamored by the fact that he has all this power.
Because at this point we find out that Conti is the space pirate king.
Yes,
Atomsk,
which is crazy.
Yeah, that's who she's been after this whole time, and what she's using Naota for. Because his head is the only one that works.
Oh God, that's crazy. Yeah, this is where it gets real psychedelic and like that next level of like
insanity.
Yeah, he is an astral space pirate, and she is
That's so fucking cool, dude. Just think about that statement.
I will.
God,
let's all take a moment and ponder what that really means to each one of us here on this episode.
Don't you wish you were an astral space pirate?
I want you to think about being a space
man.
Yes,
I do.
Yes, a man just engulfed in flames
and green stripes.
Yeah, right. I said at the top of episode 6 that everyone, and I mean everyone in this show, wants Naota to get some, except for him.
Oh, God.
I feel like his friends are talking about, like, maybe he's going to get some.
Right.
Maybe he's skipping class right now.
Smooch.
Yeah, because he's going to get some smooching going on. And that boy's just sad, walking away down the hallway.
Trying to come to grips with what's going on in his life.
He's just tired of these constant headaches. And everyone's like, maybe he's going to get... maybe he's gonna get his dick sucked real good.
I'm a fucking junior high student.
Please. And then I love the fact that this last, I wrote this down because I thought this was very clever, and I love it. Is that the last episode of this series is called Fully Climax,
right?
And I love it because the CL in climax is capitalized, just like the rest of the show title is, and I thought it was really nice. I feel like after the last episode and everything that happened, he has like kind of given up on Mamimi, which is kind of sad because he like really just kind of ditches her altogether because of what happened. But at the same time, it's like you were just kind of a scapegoat,
right? There's nothing really for you there anyway.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she was even calling.
Not to mention you're a kid, so
yeah. It's probably best if you don't.
Right.
She's definitely, I think, an adult at this point. And you're a child still.
The authorities would like to have a word.
I'm not sure what happens in Japan in the 2000s, but
the same thing.
Really
happen here? Yes.
Okay. Well, never mind then. You're probably safe then. Now to have fun.
No, you're screwed. No, what are you talking about?
So basically, it feels like she kind of has given up on him at this point. And he's kind of moping around, kind of sad about what's going on because at the same time. At this point, Haruhara just kind of disappears.
Yeah,
so she's not in the question anymore. I don't think Kanti's there at that point. No, so they both are gone. He feels betrayed by Mamimi, his previous girlfriend or F-buddy.
Thing.
So at that point, previous engagement, maybe?
Creature.
Yeah. I think it's called maybe not a tryst. I think a tryst is something different.
It wasn't even.
It wasn't even. So he's moping around, and then of course our guy Browse is on a moped in some like pipes apparently, and he's like talking about how don't trust her. She's gonna betray you. She's just gonna use you. And then he slaps a pair of brows on her from across the way. Right. And I wrote it down
as if it's some sort of defense mechanism.
Boy, and I wrote it down. Boy got brows slapped on him hard. So he's just chilling out there, and then he gets these brows laid on him, and it's kind of like a way of telling him like, "You're one of us now." Like, I think he also
you're on the level.
Yeah, I think he says something along the lines of like cats of a certain kind.
Cats gotta stick together.
Cats gotta stick together. And at that point, I didn't realize that until I was sitting here talking about it. Is that the cat that Mamimi had found a girl cat, and I guess we never saw it again.
Nah.
So it's like it really did just dip all together. Which again,
here's a visualization to go with your metaphor.
Right. Is it everyone left Mamimi? Is what it feels like. So she feels alone. Naota feels upset because now he doesn't have any ladies around him at all.
Right.
Not like he probably wanted any of them around him.
No.
But, he definitely is a little bit sad though. And then as he's sitting in his room with his brows on, just chilling out, he hears some commotion downstairs, and it goes right back to being a comic book style, which we saw in the first, the manga section, which we saw in the first episode. And I love that in this section, man, they're going hard.
Yeah.
What did the grandpa say? He was nasty. Dude, like there was a point in time where like they're kind of going crazy and shouting about going like fully coolly. What does it mean? Like, oh my God, ooh, kind of crazy. And then like I'm pretty sure the grandpa like out of left field goes like, oh, I would do anything.
She can do whatever the fuck to me anytime.
She could do that to me all day long. And we're like, damn, grandpa, chill out. Like, Jesus.
Like, please.
Yeah. And then they break the fourth wall because they're like,
I love that part.
Man, the dad is like, they said we shouldn't do the manga bit again
because it's expensive.
Because it's too expensive and it takes too much time.
But then if we don't, we get judged for being lazy.
Right, exactly. It was so funny. And again, voice of reason. Now it's like, what are you talking about, Dad?
What do you mean?
Stop all this bullshit. And then apparently Haruhara just went on vacation to
just a little sabbatical
to Hawaii, apparently. So that was fun. And again, just like the previous episode where it kind of gets real for a moment, it's still jokey, and he asks an honest question like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Like,
and she's got him. Hook, line, and sinker.
Right. And then she like looks over the edge and is like, you like me, don't you? Love me. And he's like, no, I don't. What are you talking about? And then she kind of sits close to him and is like talking to him about some stuff and is like, whenever all this is said and done with, you should just come with me.
Throw everything away. Take a hike.
And then he breaks character for a minute. That's what it feels like.
And he's like, do you mean it?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right. Well, it's not even that. It's also the fact that like he breaks down and kind of gets sad, and he hugs her and is like, you left me.
Without saying a word.
I didn't even tell me where you were going. And it's like, damn. I mean, she really does got him.
Yeah.
In the palm of her hand.
The fool.
The fool. I mean, but he's a young boy, so I don't really blame him.
Right.
I've been there, done that, read that book, didn't like the ending.
Right.
And then, of course, Mamimi, we're talking about replacements here, finds a robo-dog, apparently.
The terminal core.
The terminal
of that
core.
hand bot they've wrecked earlier.
Yes, and she starts feeding it shit.
And it grows.
And it grows into a bigger dog bot.
of course, it graduates from cell phones and small electronics to full-on mopeds and cars.
Yeah, a whole truck at one point, I'm pretty sure. I wrote this down. It's very funny.
Oh, God.
Once the dog gets to a certain level of bigness, it gets crazy.
Big McLarge huge.
Big McLarge hugeness. It gets to be unwieldy, and my Mimi can't handle it, and it goes crazy. It goes berserk. It's insane. And of course, Browse is freaking out because they're like, "That's the terminal core."
Right.
Conti gets like sucked up into it, and of course, it's just like it is shouting into the night. And then Haruhara and Naota like hop on their moped or their Vespa or whatever
to go and intercept it as it climbs onto the hand.
Which, by the way, they were like sleeping on a bench like a bunch of homeless people, which is kind of random and weird.
Living the hobo way.
After their deep conversation, they kind of like have this really interesting, like they're just running off together. He skipped school. They're just like living life for like a day or so, just kind of like, and he's really kind of falling for her.
Mm-hmm.
So as she wakes up and they're like going, he's like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And like she looks back and says, "I'm not even kidding you. It's the climax." And then of course the main theme kicks off.
Yep, the
and
last
it's like,
dinosaur.
Man,
dude, that's my favorite song.
It's such a good song
of all time. By the way,
and I just love the fact that like it happened at that time.
Mm-hmm.
She turns back, looks at him with that sly look, and it's like, "It's the climax." And then the main theme kicks into overdrive. It's
it is.
That's so great,
and it feels like it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're fighting against the hand, which they destroyed in the previous episode.
Reconstituted.
Right. Even before that, Browse goes crazy. Which I mean, is a statement in of itself.
Yeah.
They're on the Vespa flying into the heavens, trying to like, trying to destroy this, what is it, master computer? The master AI.
What do you mean?
Conti got sucked up into the...
Right.
What is it called? The master mainframe?
The
terminal core, sorry. They're trying to get to this terminal core thing, and then no lie, Browse turns around and then blasts them. Shoots one time, blasts them out the air.
Because he knows what she's trying to do. He's trying to talk some sense into Naota.
Yeah, and so he goes...
to no avail.
He goes crazy and is like, I mean, he's like, "Where's your Browse?" He's like, "Where's your Browse?" Talk about loyalty with him and stuff, and he just turns back around and then hugs Haruhara and just is like, he's fully in it with her.
So of course she then brains him with a guitar again.
Oh yeah,
opens the portal.
Oh dude, and this is when it gets so freaking badass. Dude. I wrote down the final bonk. She rears back, bonks him like normal. He tumbles like a freaking
rag doll,
like a rag doll out of nowhere. And then, I mean, the best way I put it was he is just fully awoken.
Oh yeah, the beast within.
Oh man, the hand wound from again. So in the previous episode, whenever he blasts through him with the Gibson SG vintage guitar blast to his hand, there's a hole in the middle, and it's still there. It turns into stone, and it's just sitting there.
Right.
Whenever in this scene, the terminal core turns into like a sphere and unlocks the hand again, and it turns it into something even crazy. And apparently, it's just a functioning hand now.
Meant to use the iron to smooth out planets.
And at this point, we realize that this is a series from the 2000s, and this entire series is just an elaborate meme. It is an elaborate smooth brain meme.
Oh my god!
This is the most
your brain is smooth. You can't think.
No, this is the most in depth I've ever seen. Where they're just like, he's gonna iron out all the wrinkles in your brain, and all you guys are gonna be just a bunch of smooth brain idiots. And I was like,
the golf clap.
I was like, I'm beautiful. I'm here all the way. I love it. So So as we get that kind of exposition from Browse and everyone else, they're like, you can't do this. And the hand is like grabbing the iron and there's still like steam and stuff bellowing out.
He is crushed.
The boy
Killed.
is what it seems like. The hand grabs the iron and you're like, oh shit, Browse got smashed.
Right.
And then Conti comes out of nowhere and
holding the hand back on his own.
Yes. And then Naota comes crawling out of the screen, like the face screen of Conti.
Yeah.
And is just this all-powerful being of energy.
Right.
Purple flames and just those like Gurren Lagann.
Right. Pupilless eyes.
Yes, white voids.
Legendary
with just,
Super Saiyan type
with
shit.
just like black lines all around it. Just that, I mean, just insane god shit.
So, of course, he sends this hand into the fucking stratosphere.
Oh, yeah. And it just hovers it there. Just out of shits and giggles.
Right.
Blasts through it. I mean, it's even more tattered up than it was before, and it's just hovering in the air, and he just starts kicking ass.
Oh, yeah. He jacked the powers of the Pirate King.
Yes, and he duels one-on-one with Haruhara, because now the real climax of this is that Haruhara is trying to get the power of this space king. Space pirate, space king pirate, whatever he is, corporeal form,
right?
And just like in true fashion, not only does he have his guitar, and he has the other guitar from Conti, the bass, the SG Gibson Vintage. He fuses them into one double-necked guitar.
So fucking cool.
And he just starts going to town on Haruhara and just goes crazy.
Oh, yeah.
She ends up losing.
But before the final blow was struck.
Yes.
He caves.
Like
a dimwit.
Right. Kisses her and says that he loves her and
goes back to normal.
And thus releases all the powers of the space pirate.
Freeze him
completely. And then she's like, well, shit.
Lost him again because you little bastard.
You little turd. And then she ends up taking the double neck guitar and then leaving her old bass behind. He ends up finding it. And it's just a lovely experience.
Yep. A very picturesque moment.
She ends up asking him, and this is where it feels kind of harsh and kind of like but at the same time, I don't think it needs to be elaborated on anymore. It's perfectly fine. She asks him, he's like, do you want to come with me? And she's like hovering on her floating Vespa, about to fly away. And then he hesitates to answer. And then she's like, you know what? Never mind.
You're still just a kid.
I'm not bringing
Save
you
it
with
for
me.
next time.
Right. And then ends up putting her goggles down and flies off into the distance. He picks up the bass guitar and just goes about living his life.
Right.
Come to find out, Mimi apparently moved away and became a photographer. It looks like he's now in band class or something.
No, he graduated.
Yeah. Yeah.
The end.
And then one of the coolest things, like kind of towards the end there, that I realized in the credit sequence is that in the credits, there's a lot of shots of this, of the same Vespa that Haruhara is on.
It's real.
It's a real Vespa. And it's the same yellow one. And there's a lot of shots that you get to see from like behind the handlebars, like the speedometer. But then there's other shots towards the end of the credits where they're like, it's like full 360 camera angles of it. And you get to see the license plate and everything. And it is a replica. It is the same exact thing. So I am imagining that there is a real Vespa that
I can only imagine how much that thing is worth.
I mean, maybe, who knows?
Maybe.
It depends, because I know that, like, if I was to guess, whoever created the show or people somewhere must have had the Vespa or owned the Vespa.
Yeah.
And then, of course, just based the cartoon off of it. Because, again, like I said, it has the same license plate, has all of it. Right. It's the same exact thing. So it's very...
pretty cool.
Very cool.
Wouldn't mind having that.
Yes. So, what a fun little...
Not bad for your second go-around, huh?
Oh, no. I actually liked it better the second go-round.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was a couple years back we watched this the first time.
Oh, yeah. That was before you moved in. That's crazy to think about. The thing with this series that I enjoyed is that because I was in my teenage years in the 2000s, there are aspects of this that feel very familiar.
Yeah.
Even though I was not in Japan or I never watched this.
Right.
And I think I said that on the last episode, but even more so now, watching it the second go round or watching like the second half of this and finishing it up, it just even more feels like that. And encapsulates that. I had very similar sensations and feelings that Naota is going through, where it's like I just feel like my head's all foggy because of like, weird things happening in my body and all that kind of nonsense.
Daily life.
Yeah, exactly. And all that. And then just all that crazy stuff. But at the same time, also just these nods to music and guitars and all these really interesting stuff that I'm also a big fan of. And then to like the cherry on top of all of it is the kind of genre of music it is.
Yes.
Feels, even though I may not have heard these songs specifically numerous times, I have listened to music that is the same genre of it.
Right.
So like hearing this, I'm like, I may not know this song, but it sounds like
it's familiar.
Yes, it is very familiar in so many ways. And I think it's so cool, especially that first, whenever you put the DVD in.
Oh yeah.
And it has just like that kind of like,
the slow going jam.
Yeah, that feels so nostalgic and so it puts me at peace in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because again, I know that I don't have any emotional ties to that song.
It's just a good song.
It just reminds me of like those early 2000s films, like just the Twilight Saga and like Juno, and like all these different movies that have that same sort of like angsty vibe about it that just, I don't know, super cool.
Right.
It has that same sort of feel to it, music, and it's encompassed around it.
It's nice.
It's nice.
I enjoy it.
It's pretty cool. I'm looking on Google right here, and it says, "Is Fooly Cooly weird?" What
kind of question is that?
Yeah, and it basically says that most anime is weird. So but even to those who embrace the medium, have to admit there's something off about Fooly Cooly in a certain way.
Right.
The original run of the series premiered in 2000 and 2001, and only consisted of 6 episodes. That's it. Fooly Cooly. Here's a statement. Fooly Cooly is a brilliant, sexually charged anime that's barely about sex.
Right.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wow, yeah, what a great what a great tagline. Sexually charged anime that's barely about sex.
That's funny.
That is very, very true. Yeah. I don't know anything about the other I would be interested in seeing the other seasons of the show, just
to give it a watch.
Yeah, just to give it a watch to say we did, but
I'm not do an episode on them though.
Yeah, no, just
but this being the cult classic that it is, I mean, we had.
Oh man, and I'm so glad we got a chance to rewatch this. I know that I enjoyed it the first time we watched it, but
by now it had gotten a bit hazy.
Right. I just forgot how concise it was.
Oh yeah.
I forgot how it is its own little thing. It is 6 episodes, each one being probably 20, 30 minutes each.
Yeah.
Not too bad. We were able to finish this in 2 sittings.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. At some point, though, we're going to tackle a bigger.
And we do stress.
Bigger. Big. Boy, I'm nervous for that.
Yeah, me too.
That's gonna be a doozy. To be honest, I just kind of want to just take it in strides.
Yeah.
I want to do like 2 episodes at a time. I want to go something small and just go crazy. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Tengen Toppa week.
Yes. Just go at it. But anyways, if you've been listening to both of these episodes, thank you for tuning in for this 2-parter episode that we have of an old anime that we both find near and dear to us in a special way.
Please accept our gratitude and apologies.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to watch it, just know that it is
we warned you.
It is wait, what was the quote again? It is a sexually charged anime that is barely about sex.
Right.
Very true. Is there anything else you want to add before we roll out?
I'm fucking tired.
Oh yeah, dude.
I'm so tired.
You've been working your ass off.
I need a vacation.
Yeah, dude. What's your vacation
Maybe
of choice?
1 year. Where would I want to go?
Yeah.
Oh, God. The beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
I need some ocean waves.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Soothing waves.
Being able to sit in the sun. That's
Nice.
what I need right now.
I always like the beach, like towards nighttime.
Yeah.
And when
Moonlit walks on the beach, or are you that kind of guy?
Yeah, I'm a nice no. I'm more of just like a relaxing on the beach kind of at night, especially if it's like kind of cooler out.
Oh yeah,
where it's not super hot, because I usually don't like the heat a lot. But there's many times where I've sat on the beach and like had some had some headphones in with like just some like low music playing, so you can still hear the waves and stuff.
It's perfect.
And just I have accidentally fallen asleep.
Cleansing of the soul.
Yes, I've enjoyed that a lot. But anyways,
I'm overdue.
Yeah, for me, dude, I'm going to Disney. Like I said, first week of September. I got 2 weeks, my guy, and I'm scared and excited all at the same time because this is my first like real big vacation in a while, and probably the better part of 3 or 4 years. So I need one as well, and I'm excited about this. But anyways, like I said before, thank you so much for listening. We both really appreciate it, and we've been having fun with this for the better part of 2 years now, which is crazy to think about.
Oh my God, has it really been that long?
Yeah. I think we're if not, I think we're definitely at 2 years. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. If you're looking to find us, you can type in The Aftermath on all the podcasting platforms of your choice. You know how to find us. We have a link tree /Ian Wolf if you want to find any other links or ways to contact us. But anyways, until next week, thank you so much for listening.
See you.
Bye-bye.